to the allotment. Just arrived. Look, I've got 6 green poles. Because all the poles were gone. So I've had to supply my own. I've just been to there's a shop called Daiso, which I think is like the British Poundland. Everything is 100 yen. 100 yen is about $1, so it's actually less than £1. So 6 of these. Oh, that's a bargain. Those beans are growing under there. I think they can stay under there for a bit longer. They're doing all right, aren't they? So it had been very dry. It had been very dry here, and last night we had some very strong winds and quite a lot of rain, and that's great because now everything has had a good drink, and yeah. I've put some poles up. I put 3 poles in this net, and I'm going to uncover a couple of the beans, I think, and just see how they do. I've uncovered that one in the middle. Maybe I should uncover another. Let's uncover 2. How about that one as well? Ooh, there's a bottle of. Okay. Let's uncover that one as well, and we'll see how they do. Here's the Mizuna, which I put in these pots, which should disintegrate, or the roots should just go through. Actually, they look okay, doesn't it, the Mizuna? I think it looks okay. I think it was probably a bit slow because of the lack of rain, but now the rain has fallen. Actually, I did bring my kale seeds, so I think I'm going to plant a few kale seeds. I think I'll put them in here. Kale. Citizen Kale. Okay, I'm just gonna put a few along here. Potatoes coming up. Aye, sir, that we are, sir. We're coming up now. You can't stop us now. They can't keep a good potato down now. We're not staying down there in the dark ground. We're coming up. We're coming up. They're coming up, you know. How about you, Kale? Hey, don't you touch me. I'm bloody Kale. I'll have you, pal. It's very touchy, the Kale. Hey, that's right. Get off my leaves. Don't you touch my leaves. If you cut any more of my flowers, I'll have you. You just can't do anything with the Kale, you know. He's always complaining. I'm not complaining. You are complaining. And now it's time for the balcony. We're out here on the balcony. Here are my seedlings. These are broccoli, tomatoes, and this is shiso. So shiso, every time I say shiso, I want to burst into song. She's so fine, she's so fine, or something like that. Shiso is actually perilla. It looks like nettles, but it's not nettles. It's a kind of, yeah. Oh, what have we got over here, John? What's in this little pot here?
what does it say? Pine, November 17th. So when I was out in the forest or the park, there were some pine cones, and I brought some home. I picked the seeds out and I put the seeds in this tray, but so far not a sausage. Not a bloody sausage. It's a dandelion clock, John. Would you like to blow? Excellent. Here, this is a small horse chestnut tree, and this came from Berlin. I was doing the Berlin Marathon, I guess it's about 4 or 5 years ago, and I picked up a conker, and I brought it back to Japan. I put it in a pot, and look at this. It looks amazing. All these buds, it's done very well. Lovely little tree. My little Berlin chestnut. This is my little... No, that's French, isn't it? My little Berlin chestnut, come here, my darling. I want to tell you how much I love you. My little Berlin chestnut. My little Berlin chestnut, there we go. My little Berlin chestnut. This is the Bristol oak. So when I was back home several years ago, actually, I can't even remember, it was maybe 6 or 7 years ago, I picked up some acorns. There was loads of acorns, and I picked them up, brought them back to Japan, planted a whole load, and they all germinated, they all grew, and then basically they all died. They all pretty much died because they were out one summer and we were away, and they all just terribly dehydrated. This was the only survivor, and as you can see, it just kind of it had been cut back, but there was still life left in it. I think this branch is gone. These are the kale, or as I've been calling them, the baby kale, because these are the ones that overwintered in pots on the balcony. And when they started to grow again, they went straight to seed, and I didn't want them to go to seed, so I kept cutting them back, cutting the flowers out, and actually we're getting some decent sized little leaves now. It's like a baby leaf. So I'll just leave these and we can have these for salads. This is early flowering watering can. It's come up really well this year. Little bit of winter damage there, you can see on the stem, and little bit of fungal growth here, but it's always worked really well for me. This watering can, as you can see, there's a bit of foliage appearing, and this little tree was nice and green last year, but it is now been infected with a kind of little, I don't know if you can see this. Can you see these little? You see these little kind of red? They're like almost like little tiny barnacles, and they latch on and they kind of suck the sap, or they suck the sap out. I think that's what they're doing, and then they exude some disgusting sticky thing, and I think that has done for this tree. Now what the hell are those? This is actually spread because it was also on a bay tree that we have. Let me show you that bay tree. This also had the same problem about a year ago with these horrible little red bugs, and I went round and I pulled them all off, but they've come back. This is a kind of bamboo grass. And this is from a little clump that I picked up. Picked up, John? It was just lying there? Okay, I stole it from the mountains. There, I admit it. It was. I took like a little clump of it and grew it in this trough planter thing, and these are the daikon seedlings, and it is definitely now time to thin these out a bit. Actually, those two.
Oh, it's so difficult to choose, isn't it, between your favourites? Oh, I'm sorry, Cyril, but there you go. No, why did you pull me out, you bastard? I'm sorry. Oh, I thought you were going to leave me. No. Yeah, I know it's tough, isn't it? But hey, that's what gardening's all about, you know. Oh, that's what you say. It's a moral question. It's not a moral question, it's a gardening question. It's a moral question. You can't just pull it. It's not a moral question. You're the kind of person who you'd put a lobster into a pot of boiling water, wouldn't you? No, because I can't afford lobster. But you would, wouldn't you? Why do we put live lobsters into boiling water? Because we want to eat them? Oh, that's very glib, that is, John. Very glib indeed. What would you do if you were a lobster? I wouldn't know I was a lobster. I wouldn't ask such stupid questions. Oh, that's charming, that is, isn't it? Call yourself a gardener. You don't care about living things, do you? Oh, shut up. Well, that's it. That's all I'm going to do. I put up some poles, put up some nets. I did put in some kale seeds. And I put a net up. I said that, didn't I, for the beans. The beans seem quite good. We had some rain. And everything's blooming in the garden. Everyone's potatoes are coming up now. Everything's looking quite lush and green. It's just so well organised. I just throw it all in. Luckily we have a supermarket, you know, if we really do need vegetables, so. This is a house being built. A lot of houses are just wood. It's completely made of wood. So all the wood is cut in the factory, and then it's just all fitted together by the chippies, by the carpenters, I think. Right, that's it. So from the allotment, thank you very much, and see you again. Bye.